Okay, a couple of things for hockey is important with this particular box right here. First is this little up thing. Sometimes people will accidentally hit the time up down. It absolutely has to say down. If it doesn't, everything seems to be working, but it doesn't work, and no one can figure out why. And that's because it reads up, not down. Make sure it reads down. Second thing about hockey, you don't need this home shots and visitor shots. You don't need, nor do you need the timer set here, or do you need shift. Int mode gives you a 30-second timeout, but most of the referees in hockey have a watch and they'll monitor the timeout. So if there is a timeout, the ref will blow his whistle. You don't have to tell the ref when the 30 seconds is up. Okay, so you've got editing function here, so I don't. So
what's the first thing we do? Plug it in and press down. What's the next thing I do?
Make sure. Whenever you're doing something here, it's usually a good idea to be in stop mode.
Okay.
You can still change some things when you are in run mode. So if I put in, for example, game time here, 1-5, this has 3 fields, so I have to go enter, enter, enter. And that's very important that the time field, you notice it has 3 fields, so it's enter, enter, enter before this entire data.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
You can, in fact, change the score while the time is going on. There's no problem with that. So you can go visitor score and you can give them 2 points.
Okay.
Because really, who cares? You certainly don't want to be messing with the clock when you're still in run mode.
Okay.
All right. What else?
Okay, so I'm running the clock, and there's a goal. Okay. So the game is going. Okay,
so now the ref says, okay, there's a stop and play, and the ref comes over and says, somebody has a penalty. If we go, if it's this team over here or the home team, this first number is the player's number. The clock doesn't care.
No.
I like to put the number in.
Yeah.
So you have to say who. It's like who and how long.
So
if we go home penalty, who, number 75. Enter.
That takes care of the first field.
Yeah, 2 minutes, enter, enter. And remember, it's the same thing. This is a field, and this is a field, and this is a field.
You enter because you didn't need the third field?
That's right, yeah.
What is the third field? What is the third field?
Doesn't matter. If there was a penalty for 2 minutes and 30 seconds or something like that.
Right.
That just lets you change it. That just lets you be more specific if you need to be. Okay, if we go visitor penalty, and who is number 14, and when you're in a panic, ultimately you don't have to care if it's number 14 or whoever, because you can see it.
Yep. If you want to skip the player number, do you just press enter twice to get to that second field?
Yeah, you're giving players 0. And there's a shortcut here. If you go 2 minutes, enter, enter, but really what's shorter than going 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And so if we go back to home penalty here, number 75, sorry, let's run this. So now the ref comes over and gives the home team another penalty. So if we stop it and say home penalty, you got to be careful. You got to get down to the second person. So now number 33 has a penalty. Enter for 2 minutes. Enter, enter. And now we can run that, and both of these numbers will appear on the game clock. So now both of these penalties are disappearing. And then there's a stop. Then there's a goal. We hit stop, and this first penalty has to be erased. And that's because the ref, because this number 75, who knows the game better than the timekeepers, number 75 suddenly disappears from the penalty box.
Yeah.
And that's because she's allowed out of the box, so now you have to kill that penalty. So now we're going to go in and kill penalty number 1. We go 0, and if we go enter, who cares, we'll go 0, enter, 0, enter, 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 enter. And even though it reads number 2, when we hit run, you can see it jumps up to the number 1 penalty.
Okay. And one more time, change that. You just guests have scored again, but you've given the 1 goal to the home team, and everybody's shouting.
Okay, so I went home score and I gave them a point, and everyone's yelling. I gave them the wrong point, so I'm just going to go back to home score here. I'm going to hit 0. I'm going to take a goal away from them, and then I'm going to go visitor score 3, enter. Biggest thing with this is to remember that there's a couple of fields and you've got to enter your way through each of the fields. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Cut.